See, you are alive, my friend. You are here with the internets. What is going on, people? It is Wednesday, my dudes, and it is a little bit after lunch. I'm gonna get AP on the channel today and talk about moving with a sense of urgency, and that is something I believe in very heavily. So let me paint the picture for you guys. Aaron's been to Roanoke several times. Some of you guys are going to watch the video. Y'all been here to the shop, been in my hometown. It's Mayberry, baby, and everybody here's they kind of like it like that. And look, I'm going to tell you, there are some benefits to Mayberry. There are some benefits. I have not locked my house really like it might be locked. It might not. I don't know. There was not a lot of crime like that. A lot of meth, but not a lot of like violent, not a lot of murders and nothing like that. So it is a laid back life type of town. But there is a big downfall, and the more that I've gotten into success and personal development, trying to hit milestones and make money and go places, you find that the hometown, small town vibe, it's not even a particular event. It's really just a vibe, and it annoys the absolute hell out of me. And it's to the point now to where I'm just about having to keep my firearms put away because it'll make you want to just like eat a bullet. Sometimes it gets, I can't say everything I want to say because they'll censor the video. I'm being funny. It's tongue in cheek, but it is very annoying. And it's Mayberry versus LA. And that's really what it is. It's that type of mindset. So moving with a sense of urgency, why is it important? What are we talking about? Aaron comes from small town as well. So maybe you can articulate on it a little bit. What's the difference? If there's guys out there watching this that grew up in that small town vibe, right? Like, how deep does that get into your DNA and you probably don't even realize it?
Well, that's what it is. It's embedded in the DNA, and I think this is the reason that people who grow up in small towns, if you would say they have a disadvantage, it's this, because once you wake up, you're 27, right? You've already had decades worth of conditioning that you have to unlearn just to begin to have any financial success. Okay. And just to be open to maybe having financial success. A lot of times, Cody, growing up, having financial success was of the devil. See?
Yeah, we had guys around town that were business owners, and everybody knew they were probably worth a couple $1 million, kind of know that's the guy. And I was a kid, even a teenager, and those guys were always kind of asshole. And now I'm like, I get it. I totally get it, because they're trying to do stuff like, bro, they wake up, and this is pre-internet days. I'm trying to go back to like 2000s when I was coming up and meeting these people around town, and they didn't give you the time of day. And it's not because everybody thought in their mind, well, that guy's jackass. It's like, no, he's really not. He's just got a punch out list. He's got a power list of the day that he's trying to get through. And everybody else is in what I call moseying gear, right? I stay on my boys about this. I'll call them. They're across the shop, 50 feet away. Hey, come here real quick. And Preston, I love him, bless his heart, but my job is to beat this out of him by the time he's 20 years old. Preston moseys. He just gonna mosey across the shop. And I'm like, bro, move your ass. Like, I need you to walk with a click, right? We need to be on a clip. And so when we get around those guys in town, the vibe of the town, nobody ever say this to their face, but they were just, yeah, that guy's he's kind of an asshole. It's like, no, he's not. He's really not. Probably the nicest dude in the world. You're just meeting him at a place where you're in his way. You're just taking up. They'll come in the shop and just ask around about. I'm like, what is this guy? He's here to get a thing, and he's been here 38 minutes. Does he not have a job to go do? Like, our shop's kind of set up in a bad way because it's easy to just come into the building. And I've got to really start cracking down on that, because my guys they're trying to get stuff done too. I'm holding them to a production standard, and we got stuff to do. They know that. But if you got people just walking in the building, all the time. It's like there's a balance between, you can't just walk up to the customer and say, hey man, here's your stuff, get out of my shop. But you almost need to put off a vibe of urgency. And I found that the people who move in moseying gear, they do not understand the not moseying gear. It goes right over the top of their head.
Oh, all the way to gaslighting you that you're bad. All the way, I'm talking about narcissistic, like you have a problem for them moseying, right? Just in you see what I'm saying? And there's a group of mosiers. There's a horde of
A lot
mosiers, most. And so it's easy for a young entrepreneur, a young guy who has ambition, to believe the crowd. Think about it. If you're 18, you're walking at a clip. You got a little hustle to you. Somehow you found this in the middle of nowhere. I don't know how you got it. Maybe you're like Cody and myself. There's something that's just clicking in you, right? A lot of you guys watching, you're different. You're of a different cloth. Well, the problem with this is you have a horde. It's like a zombie horde, The Walking Dead, right? You got a horde of people who are telling you that you're bad for thinking the way you're thinking. And you know how many dreams are stolen by this horde of mosiers? I mean, you can't count them. There's people who say, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't hustle like this. Maybe I shouldn't want to be financially successful along with relationship success, along with all the other success. No, just have success with your marriage and success with the Lord, and let your family live under a bridge and you'll be all right. And it's like, that's false. That's just false. So I think that is the main epidemic, is that you start to think you're crazy for operating at this clip.
It's a weird transition to make. If you grew up in that gear and now you're trying to like grow into your greatness, you're trying to step into that place in your life where you're hitting your stride, to number one, to detach yourself and find another gear, that's almost impossible. Humans, you're talking about rewiring who you are. Very hard to do. But then, like you're saying, you're also competing with everybody around you that's still running in granny gear. Bro, it's like they're driving the victory speed. Like they think we're still in the damn war effort and we're trying to save on fuel. Like I'll give you the example. We got the guys back here. They cut off an acre and made us a bigger parking lot. Okay. The guys the Dozier guy, he's great. He's here every day. But here's the dude that's pissing me off. It's the guy that's hauling the gravel from the quarry right up here in Wadley. And I've watched him. It has taken 11 business days to haul in about 16 dump truck loads of gravel. Okay. If I was in Auburn, Alabama, an hour that way, this would be a 1-day event, maybe 2. All the gravel would be down. But no, not in Randolph County now. See, and I go down there a minute ago. I don't know if y'all can hear it, that's vibrating in here, because he's got the little shaking roller machine out there and they're compacting all that gravel. And it looks great. I drove down the hill when I was going to get lunch and I was like, hey, I can still see we're about 3 loads of gravel short of finishing. There's a little pocket down there. And the guy, my Dozier guy, was like, hey, I'm waiting on so-and-so to bring the gravel. And this is what he told me. I almost lost my mind. That old boy, he bird hunts, and he's bird hunting this way. Listen to him. I don't give a damn about your bird hunting. Okay. I'm trying to get stuff done. If you bird hunt, that's fine. Take a week off and go bird hunt. Okay. You bird hunt on Saturday. You're hamming up. You see, you're hamming up my damn operation because you want to go bird hunt. And I don't give a shit about your bird hunt. All right. But that's just an example of living here and how it is. I see it exaggerated because Roanoke's like one of those small towns in the South that's really exaggerated that way. And everybody operates that way. The Guthries took literally about 14 months to build. You go to Auburn, Noonan, Georgia, LaGrange, you'll drive to LaGrange one day and they'll be cutting some trees. And next time you come back, there's an apartment complex and kids playing outside, people getting mail over there. So we're running on 2 different gears, right? It's completely different type of mindset of trying to get things done. It's so weird.
So what is the chicken and the egg? How is that created? How is it broken? You know what I mean?
When I was a kid, we would talk about we're in Mayberry here, right? And Atlanta's 2 hours this way. We got all these towns surrounding us that are about an hour away. And then we've got Atlanta and Birmingham are about 2 hours away. Okay. And we were always of the persuasion that those were the bad folks in the big town, right? So it's the country versus the city, right? But if you'll take a map of poverty of the U.S. and you overlay it with a map of Mosier's, I'll be damn thing. The Mosian map correlates exactly. Where does everybody drive slow as shit, right? We moved. I lived in Chicago for a year when I was 15. We moved to Chicago. We lived there for a year. Came back when I was 16. So we go from Podunk, Mayberry to literally the third biggest city in the country and back. When we moved up there, we noticed immediately. I was an older teenager, like I was cognizant. We're sitting at a red light, and this is what we do down here, guys. Red light. Light turns green. We start going. Feels pretty normal, right? No, not in Chicago. They're looking at the other light. And when that light turns red, they're going. They start moving while their light is still red and it turns green. Now, that leads to probably a lot more fender benders. But why? It's not like they had a freaking meeting. Everybody there is tuned up. They're tuned up because they got shit to do, got shit to do. Try and get over there, try and get done, try and get done. And then you come down here. So we would say, well, all those people, it's in country music, like Aaron tell you. It's like it's lyrics. It's such a meme. There's lyrics behind it. There all them people driving fast almost international harvest. Go to hell trying to get down the road and do stuff. Okay. It's not funny that you're in your international harvester. Okay. I hope it wreck, break your neck. That's what I hope. Trying to go. Okay. But what you'll find is in business, if you're trying to be successful, it will sort of automatically rewire you, but it ain't going to change none of the people around you. And now you're running in third or fourth gear, and everybody else around you is in neutral or maybe first gear.
Yeah, Dan Kennedy says you have to develop a deep-seated resentment. And this is the only way I've figured out how to run in this new gear is to develop a deep-seated resentment towards that old gear. Otherwise, you subconsciously will slide back into it, rationalized in the form of, well, they just doing the best they can.
Go ahead and preach.
Go on, get it. I love that. You want me to start hacking? You want me to start hacking? You know, they're just doing the best they can do. They're just, you know, I hope they get where they're going, all this stuff. And what you find is you start sliding back into it. No, you can't accept it. You have to develop a frequency against it, because you will become it again. To think that if you're going to operate in that fishbowl, Cody, right, of that area of the country, which you have very well, you have to be the way you are. Otherwise, you'll quicksand back into it, wake up a year and a half from now, and you're backsliding, by God.
It's totally, it'll suck you back in, because what we think we're running at wide open, if you picked it up and stuck it in LA, it's in third gear. It's like, no, there's a dude getting up running circles around us. Yeah, you built 380 rigs. It could have been 500. Yeah, you made 60 calls. It could have been 60 a day, right? It's like there's so many places where you think comparatively, it's like around here, man, that boy, he's doing that's crazy. No, I ain't even moved. The needle ain't come off the bottom yet in reality, compared to what the world is, right? There's people out there making big moves. And so you got to kind of act like that, guys. Even in your wash business, you've got to kind of act like that because it's true. There's people in your local area. All it's going to take is that one guy. It may be next year or the year after, who decides to get into pressure washing and disrupts your entire cookie basket because he's a hustler beyond where you're at. I think we can all agree at the end of the day that there are some techniques. We teach this stuff at Serious Starter. We just had the boot camp last weekend, like the other day, and we've already got the tickets. We've already sold some tickets for the next one. So if you guys want to learn the tactical things, there are listen, There are tactical things that you need to know how to implement. There's equipment, washing procedures, property protection. There's all the stuff. There's marketing. There's there's all the stuff. But the biggest thing that's going to help you is just moving with a sense of urgency. That I can't train you. I can show you what it looks like, but I can't get it in you. If you have this is the magic sauce. We say, you're going to work about 65 hours a week in your first year, probably 2 years, and then you can probably go down from that. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean 65 hours of standing around? Like,
I'm on the job.
It means 60 hours of hustling. Did you play Little League? I don't know. We've never talked. Did you play Little League?
Football?
No, I'm talking about baseball. I played baseball.
I played football, Little League. I didn't play baseball.
They used to piss me off. Be like 11. That's the number. Be like
Cody pissed off, disgruntled at 11.
I got a whole pack. I just fucking pissed all the time. Okay. I operate on a general setting of mad. But I'd have an entire mouthful of big league chew, the chewing gum, right? Shit was nasty as hell. It'd turn into drywall glue. And they'd say, hustle up now. I'm like, I'm sure, what am I supposed to do? Hustle up. Where? I'm just standing in a field. It's like, there's nothing to do. Okay. But I know what they were saying. They were saying, when you come in off the field, run.
Run.
Does it do anything? No. Don't mean shit. When you go back out to the field, when you swap, run. What they were telling you is hustle up all the time.
Up your total speed in your life. That's what they're saying. Like the average speed over your life needs to change. Man, I coach my boy in Little League, and look, I came from a great high school with a Hall of Fame coach in the Alabama Association, Steve Savarese, and he implemented this. They'd never seen this before, and I was like 8th grade or so when I started seeing it. Steve Savarese implemented the sprint on and sprint off the field. Okay. You see a lot of kids now, they jog off the field. Somebody comes and gets them out, replacement, substitution.
Oh my God.
Oh, don't be caught. Not at a full. I'm talking about cock back. I'm talking about at a full sprint. Running ain't enough. And he implemented that. And that's why they went on to win, a few state championships with him, is because he implemented, I believe, that like baseline grit, hustle, something as small as that can totally change your business because you run at a different pace than everybody else. You'd be amazed at how much you can get done in a year just by upping your average speed to closing, upping your average speed to betting on yourself with Google Ads marketing, right? Putting down the money for the website before everybody else is willing to, right? Most of your competition are going to mosey.
That's the point. They're
it's
all
beautiful,
mosey, dude.
It's great. It's so good. And they don't even know they're moseying.
Like, you're trying to get your operational tempo to a very high level so that your 8-hour day is really worth their 12-hour day. You see what I'm saying? It's like you're compressing outcomes because you're about it. Like, that's what it is. And you're gaining so much ground in the competition because they're not going to really run like that. Like, they're not going to operate at that high of a level. They're not tier 1 operators. They're not going to do it. Like, they're not about it. So it's sort of a mind hack, but I will tell you, once you go down that path, you can never go back. You will always know that you could be doing more. You could be achieving more. We just rolled a chemical out today. All right. We've rolled 2 chems out this year already. Oh, there you go. Super Seal. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Chemical on the website, available for sale. Tested R&D. Works great. Put it on the site. Get on the site. Get it on the site, dude, because I've got a list. Well, here's what happens, I think. Guys will have their goal for their life. They'll chop that down to a year and say, all right, this year I want to do X. And the problem is they never compress that down to a quarter, month, week. Here's where the magic happens: the day. You got to win the day. And if you win the day, then you got to turn around and win tomorrow, another day. And if you just keep stringing that shit together, this is Nick Saban, right? You're just going to do blocking and tackling, but you're going to do it with excellence every freaking time. And that's the recipe. But when you get around moseying, I got a hard time with moseying around my family, around people I've known my whole life. I'm just like, and it starts to bleed over into other areas where they start these little lines, these little quips. They're just like, what they're doing is they're talking to themselves, but they're trying to bring you down, trying to make you feel bad for not moseying. But look at that guy. He's an asshole. No, he's really not. He's just got somewhere to be. That's all it is. And you ain't got nowhere to be. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, guys. If you're outgrowing your friend group, that's probably about right. That's about par for the course. If you're not, like, we don't do Thursday night, go to the bar and have some drinks. You know why? They ain't got time.
Average.
Too average.
Average, man.
I'm not interested. What's Paul say here? Started my business in July of last year. Learned from y'all's wash class. I put my notice in, $200K job, and I have $225K on the books for March and April. Expected to do over 1 milli this year, my dude.
Let's go,
bro. You see what I'm saying? Paul is not a Moseian.
Paul ain't moseying. Paul's just implementing the blocking and tackling to excellence every single day.
You know what happens when Paul has a 12-volt pump go out? He don't give one single damn because he does not have time nor the inclination to care because he's not moseying. So because he doesn't mosey, here's what that means. He can go out to eat whenever and wherever he wants. He can drive whatever he wants. He can go on vacation wherever he wants, whenever he wants. But the trade-off is he doesn't mosey. He's in a high operating gear. But that puts out an outcome that it takes care of all these other problems that you think are problems, but they're not problems. Yep. All the guys that you see bitching, whining, moaning, and complaining about like little stupid stuff on their rig, it's like all the guys like Paul or me or guys like Turman, got Ketchows are like, what are you talking about, dude? You're gonna make $1 million. Like, who cares? Like, it's a penny. It's a drop in the bucket. The reason those guys can't see what we're saying with that stuff or with the marketing spin, you tell them to spend a few $100 a month on what the. They're moseying, and it literally don't compute to them. It's like, I feel bad for them. I really do. I feel bad because you're speaking two different languages. Paul is talking two different languages.
Yeah, and I want to kind of give a shout out to some of these guys because I think one of the biggest hindrances to leveling up is the mourning of the loss of your friend group. A lot of people don't want to change. They don't want to heed the call or go towards the pull of kicking it up a gear if they feel it, right? There's a few guys out there who are on the cusp of breaking that curse, right? The generational curse of moseying. And they don't go because they're scared to lose their friends. I'll tell you, I've recycled my friend group probably 4 or 5 times in my life. And not because I don't love the people. Like, I love them. But our minds just don't connect. They're not wanting to go anywhere bigger. They're wanting to stay where they are. And that's fine. I just can't spend 10 hours a week with you. I could probably spend an hour a month with you. I just reduce that amount of time that I spend, but you got to be able to kind of recycle those folks and still love them from a distance, but you don't have to be with them all the time. And you have to purge that because you will be the average of those people.
Here's what it is. If you're around those people, this is what you're doing. They're holding you up, going down the damn road, trying to get somewhere. This happens without fail. We live in Georgia now. We drive across state line. We come to the shop almost every day of the week. We come into the state line. Dusty jokes about it too. Dusty being Auburn coming this way. He gets to a place called Welch. Okay. Welch is right there by what's called the flea market. Okay. Dusty gets to Welch. It's so funny. He don't even get mad no more. Y'all ain't ever seen Dusty mad. I've seen Dusty mad twice. It's not cool. You don't like it. You ain't gonna be burning when he's mad. He just has infinity amount of strength when he gets mad. Dusty coming into Welch, running about 60, right? Got shit to do. Gets to Welch. They spawn at Welch. Somebody doing about 43. Okay. Kind of curvy, hard to pass. Big trailer, load of skid frame, right? He don't even get mad no more. It just comes into Roanoke. Come in the other way. Cross state line, you get to a place called Rock Mills. They spawn up and they're usually in an older car, right? I've never got behind anybody in a nice car that was doing this. Older car, and they're just. Now, why is it that if you take that poverty map and you take that Mosaic map and you overlay those two things, even at a smaller scale level, you zoom in, we can see it here because we got a town and about 20 minutes of woods that segregate these two towns. So it's a good little experiment. And everybody over here is poor as hell. Literally. There's like maybe 6 people, maybe 10 people that you could draw a circle around and say they got a 7 or 8 figure net worth. Like, they ain't probably nobody with 8-figure net worth, but there's a few. But if you go 25 minutes this way, we ate at a place in LaGrange. We took Aaron and his old lady out there called Nutwood Winery. Super nice place. You're not eating that. It's not happening over here. Why? Why can't it? It's such an interesting thing to me. And it's not because there's not opportunity here. It's not because the things don't work 20 minutes away. Like, no, it works. It absolutely works here. It's because the gear they're in, they've never hit past 3rd gear and they don't know what it's like. So when we're telling you guys that you can make serious money in business, in pressure washing or anything else, we mostly talk about service businesses, but whatever that is, understand it can be done because I did it. I did it from a driveway. I started in my driveway with $7,000, and 5 years later, we have an 8-figure business. That was it. $7,000. Like, but what's the difference? It's not moseying, not being okay with moseying, not making that some kind of virtue of moseying. That's all I did.
You know, when I moved to Nashville, Cody, I started kind of getting a taste of another speed. And Nashville isn't New York or LA. And my my wife at the time, she was from LA, and that was kind of the first time that I noticed a different gear.
Yeah.
Like how fast they move. Like, there ain't an email that comes in at 8 p.m. that isn't answered tonight. Okay. Sometimes she'd be up at 11 p.m. answering the email tonight. She don't play. I'm telling you, for all things for better or for worse, you know, I'm glad it didn't work out in the end. But you start noticing that all of those folks who came from those areas of the country, they operated at a different gear. And it wasn't even a thing they talked about. It was just how they operated. It wasn't like they knew they were in this gear. Yeah, we operate fast in LA. No, that's not even what they said. They're just like, no, it's just our day.
Never
occurred to them that they are lapping 17 of the people I grew up with by themselves. You know, going by them. They don't even know it. And so, you know, so for some of you guys tuning into stuff like this, right, it sounds brash. Sometimes it sounds abrasive. To the guys out there who get it in the chat, they already get it, right? They know what it takes. To some of you new guys who are listening, it may sound like a little bit of an asshole, right? A little bit of, you know, why can't you just have patience? Why? See, that's the poison. So it's still in there. I'm trying to get it out of you. Because if
you almost have to speak a certain way to get your attention. And what Paul is saying here is that's how I roll. Paul is he's work, look until I have the people in place for it to run, then I'll have fun. He's not saying the point of going into business was not to die in the saddle, right? Mm-hmm. We can all agree. I'm not romantic about the ass busting. That's just a fact. Got to do it. Let's do it. I'm romantic about the check mark goal that I've set, and I've kind of gotten there with Southeast. Now I have much more do what I want to time now. But the point was, like Paul's saying, he knows that he's got a run of a couple 3 years, and he's gonna do everything, and then he's gonna get to hire people out, and then he'll get to throttle back. But nobody ever gets over that hump. Hardly anybody. That's why 95% of businesses fail. That's why most businesses don't make it past 5 years, is because they don't put the work in the first 5 to set it up like Paul's going to do so that he can throttle back, because you can't run like that forever. I guess you could, but that ain't the point. Like, the point was to be able to do what you want when you want, and you still got money coming in. But oddly, here's what happens, Paul. You're going to learn this too. You probably already kind of feel it. What you're doing is you're wiring yourself to that throttle back point 3 years from now, whatever that looks like for you. That throttle back point will still be about 2 gears higher than you ever were in the past.
Yeah.
And it won't even feel like any work. You'll just be like, man, I finally got it. I got me a guy hired for this. I got office staff. Man, I get the throttle back. And then 6 months later, you'll be like, I'm still kicking ass, taking names. It just becomes your default setting. And it's so much better. It is just frustrating to be around moseying. I cannot stand it.
Have you ever been able to kind of like differentiate between a sense of urgency for something that needs to get done, like, or just like unneeded stress? What's your way of kind of differentiating that?
Yeah, because we talk about this all the time. Our problem ain't like ideas. Our problem's implementation, right? There's only so much mental bandwidth that you can do and things you can get out in a quarter or a month or whatever. So I try to just look for what's the biggest thing that's going to move the needle? Like, what's going to move us down the track the furthest, and we go in order of accomplishing something. Because I love this saying, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And that's so true. And that's, in other industries, that's usually not the problem. The problem is lack of an idea. The problem we have is lack of time, like lack of, cash flow, and you get eat up quick. So trying to find the things that are going to move you down the track and work in that order. This is a great question. I'm pretty much off the truck now, having to build my own why. How has your why changed as your business grows? It's a great question. Here's in the early days, my why was material things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I wanted to move my family to a nicer house, which we already had a nice house. I wanted to put my wife in a nicer car. I wanted a nice watch. I wanted my boys to have nice things. I wanted my daughter to a college fund or whatever, whatever that is. That was my why. It was material things. About halfway through the journey, we started really hitting some big milestones and making a lot of money. And now, for sure, my why is really more about my team. I've got all the cool shit. I drove over here today in a $250,000 Land Rover Defender. I don't even care. Like, I might go put it in the other bill. I don't know. It sort of gets like you're saying, the why does change, because it's like, meh. Now my why is I want to see my guys level up. It does more for me to know that my guys can go buy them a nice house, can go get them, their wife, a nice car. I want to level up my team, because what good does it do if I'm living up here and my team's down here, right? I don't like this. I want my guys to level up. I want to watch them not have to worry about X, Y, and Z happening at their house. So now it's more of a passion of the team. I love my team. Anybody talks bad about my team, I burn them on the ground immediately. I don't even care if they were in the wrong. You just instantly die. Because my guys are bought in. They know that. They know that we've got their back, that we want them to win. We want them to have plenty of vacation time a year. We want them to enjoy the process of coming to work, not hate Mondays. And so that's my new fun, is structuring the company so that not only the ownership level and the C-suite wins, but that the whole team wins together, and we can keep marching forward. And those kind of guys, they're way more bought in, dude. Like, bro, they'll die for the platoon, because if they know that if we're going down, by God, we're going together. That's my why right now.
That's a good question.
That's a really good question. Guys, that was what I wanted to talk about today. Trying to get gravel poured in Randolph County.
Ain't gonna do it. It's about like ox and ox. It don't work.
When it don't work. It's very frustrating. It's so, oh my God.
It's a damn shame.
There it does. I know some of you guys resonate with this because it's like you start hitting these milestones, you start catching wind in your sails before you know it, you're outrunning all the other boats. Just trust me when I tell you, there's more boats that you're fixing to come up on that are much funner boats to ride with. Catch Al, there's much funner boats than the boats you've been riding with, guys. Todd can attest to that.
You know, you start outrunning the old boats. You start figuring out that, you know, that boat that so and so had that you thought was real fast, it was a piece of shit. You get out here with these other boats. See, you're like, damn, we're small as hell. You out there in a Boston whaler. See, back at the house, you was racing against canoes with a motor on them.
With the big hat.
Yeah.
The big hat. Dude, all right, we're gonna leave you with this. I'm gonna get Aaron and tell the funniest story I've ever heard in my life. Tell the cigarette story.
Which one?
The Merchant Marine X-Acto knife hole punch in the canoe story.
All right, guys. So a little minor backstory here. I come from both sides of my family. My grandfather on my mom's side and my great grandfather on my dad's side were chief engineer merchant marines, meaning they knew how to crank the ship, run the ship. It was the captain, first mate, and my grandfather. They go to dinner. All right. And that's on both sides of my family. So my grandfather, old George Bishop, I think he was in like Thailand or something. You know, he had been to every country in the world except Australia. But if the country had a port, he had been to every country in the world. That's how long. He's 49-year merchant marine, been in the game. All right. Only wore boiler suits. Probably was buried in a boiler suit. I think we did.
These are big boats, right? Like the big
super tankers. Yeah. Big container boats and oil hauling boats. He got over to Thailand. My grandfather loved smoking some Winstons. Hell, he probably smoked whatever he could get over there. He chain smoked cigarettes when I was a kid. And just a sailor. You know, he's probably where I got my angst from. You know what I mean? That like Pawpaw fight you. He likes fight. Like he love hell fight. like he love his family, but you don't cross Pawpaw. All right, like George. You don't mess with him. He gets over there and he's going to do a deal, right? They got the little guy. He comes up with the dinghy boat way down there, right? Because he's up on this big ship. And the little dude comes up on the dinghy boat paddling it in the harbor. And he's, you know, oh, I got cigarette, money, cigarette, right? Pawpaw's up there. He says, all right, bet. He's like, send down money. I send cigarette. Send down money. I send up cigarette.
This is actual audio for anybody wondering.
He said, all right, bet we'll send it down to you. So he sends down there a couple $100 or whatever, you know, big money for Thailand for sure, wherever he was. And soon as them $100 bills got down to that boat on the string, right? He said, ha, 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 ha. He said, and he started paddling away. No cigarette came up.
Stupid American.
Oh, stupid American. Right? Well, George Arthur Bishop did not take kindly to this thievery happening, especially when it pertains to cigarettes that he was probably starved of for a good while. Well, they had these, you've seen these shanks that they have on the ship. I mean, they're like solid steel, right? I mean, probably about 60, 70 pounds, one of them to pick up, hefty. Well, Pawpaw got the great idea to just go on and pick that shank up and and eyeball it, right?
Laser guided.
Eyeball it, and he heaved that shank over the side of the boat. Well, that shank went to flying. I'm talking about like a rock. It went, I mean, you know, it's 60, 70 foot up, dude. Like it's gaining speed.
It's a Hampton Inn.
It's a laser at this point. It's a tractor beam, okay? And that rascal, when it hit his boat, it hit like, you know, he's paddling, hit like right in front of him. It's like he laser cut the exact shape of the shape. Like it didn't break up the rest of the boat. It laser cut the exact shape.
It looked like that card at the ice cream parlor that they punch your ice cream.
Exactly. It said, just didn't stop. Hit that thing, dude, and he went to sinking. He
sank,
hollering, "A stupid American," you know, and he's out swimming in the harbor. And you know, my papa told me this story, and he was like, you know, in his age, he said, well, I probably shouldn't have done that. He goes, because I could have killed his ass. Like dead. Like could have killed.
The moral of the story is the Chinaman would have got away if he hadn't have been moseying.
He was moseying on them paddles and he
thought he had time to mosey.
Thought he had time. Well, that shank took no prisoners. If he would have, like, you know, upped the clip a little bit,
got away.
Got away, got about 8 foot away. It's hard. You can't throw a 70-pound shank. It's just right over top.
And
but see,
that's what we're always trying to do. We're trying to get out ahead of the inevitable sky shank that's coming. Like it could be George up there. Like you don't.
Well, you know, them boats are shaped right. The sides are shaped like that. So he could have been underneath, right? So he was paddling and he was still even. He was still even with the side. You can't be moseying if you're stealing money for cigarettes, man.
Hey,
you better get paddling.
The looser you gonna run, the quicker you gotta be.
So get out there. Don't be moseying. Don't feel bad if you're running at a different pace. Don't listen to your friends, family, and neighbors when they tell you to slow down. That's the devil. Don't be listening to them. Okay. Keep up the speed, keep up the momentum. There will be a day where you'll be able to sit back and kind of look at what you built. But for a lot of us watching this right now, it's not today. It's not today, and it's not the 2024 season. Put on the gas. Be unreasonable. Yeah. If your wife tells you to slow down, tell her, baby, listen, I'm going to need you to calm down with all that nonsense, first off. Okay. Second, we're going to build an empire here, and I need your complete support because I ain't slowing down. When you come into bed, I don't know. Hell, I might not. I don't know. I can work all night.
Might be at the shop 2:33 a.m.
Might know. Be. I don't know. So expect me to not. So that when I do, you're stoked. Okay? Because that's how we got to work like this. Okay? Yep. We got to work that way this year.
If anything, err on the side of speeding the hell up.
Yep.
You guys have a great Wednesday, my guys. We got stuff to go do. No moseying.
I'll see y'all.
Peace out.